I really feel like this is the best time of year. It's all hype, it's all rumors, leaks, predictions, and it's all excitement leading up to the big show in less than a month. But will this E3 actually deliver? What's going on, everybody? It's Ghost Robo, and today Sony laid out their plans for E3 2018, and it's a really direct approach. They're focusing on 4 major tentpole titles. They'll do a couple indie highlights, some third-party announcements, and they're out. They explicitly stated there will be no new hardware at E3 this year. So if you were wanting a PSVR iteration, or if you were holding out hope for some mention of PS5, I know I was, it's not happening. There will be no PS5 at E3 2018. Now, maybe that's plenty obvious to you, but what's becoming plenty obvious to me is that this year's E3 is pretty darn obvious. And my question is, can an E3 be a stellar stunner of a show without many surprises? Or is awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping moments at the heart of what makes E3 so fun? I look back to last year and I say, wow, that was one of the strongest lineups of games I think I've ever experienced at E3. God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Super Mario Odyssey, even the shooters Call of Duty World War II, Battlefield 1, and Battlefront 2 were really cool before some of them bobbled some things post-launch. But even with such an incredible lineup, I would rank last year's E3 as one of my least favorites, because there wasn't a whole lot of surprises. And we've seen in recent days Walmart.com leak a whole lot of stuff, from Rage 2 to Gears of War 5, things that at least could have been surprising, Splinter Cell, and if we're to believe that list, many of the third-party major games and some of Microsoft's stuff is already out there. Now today we have Sony come forward and say that they're focusing on 4 major games: The Last of Us Part 2, the upcoming Spider-Man, Sucker Punch's Ghost of Tsushima, and Kojima's Death Stranding. Now I have no doubt these will be excellent offerings. I'm freaking positive they will be gorgeous games with great gameplay and a whole lot of polish and prowess. But we know exactly what they are. And maybe there will be a one more thing moment, but given the Walmart leaks, given what we know from Sony, given what we expect from the third parties, it seems like a very sequel-heavy year with a lot of known quantities, and in some cases, straight-up announced or leaked quantities. Tack on there the pre-E3 Call of Duty Black Ops 4 blowout event, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is out in the open, and hey, we still have 3.5 weeks, so more could be announced before we even get to June 10th. And then there's everything from last year, and in some cases, multiple years, that has to carry over. Those would be your Skull and Bones, your Beyond Good and Evil 2s, your Anthems, and your Crackdown 3s. The saving grace here might be Nintendo. And for me, Nintendo is at the crux of whether this E3 goes down as one of my favorites or one of my least favorites. There will be no new hardware as far as we're aware. The Switch is solidifying itself as a strong platform of choice. PlayStation just said, hey, no new hardware, and I don't think Xbox is in a position to do much either. Nintendo, though, doesn't have a whole lot listed for fall 2018. We know that Super Smash Bros. Is coming, but we don't know if it's a new game. We don't know if it is a dolled-up port. We don't know what characters and franchises will be included. We're kind of expecting Pokemon, but could that be something really awe-inspiring? Could that be something really fantastic? Or will it let us down by either being too much more of the same or by not being there at all? Then there's the wild cards, right? The Pikmins, the Animal Crossings, even Metroid Prime 4 at this point feels like it could or could not be there. But Nintendo has brought the allure, they've brought the mystery, they have put up the big red curtain and said, hey, come and find out what we've got going on. And look, I'm no stranger to Nintendo sometimes coming out soft at E3 and delivering a disappointing showcase. Maybe another company comes through in the clutch and brings some big unexpected surprises, but it really feels like one of those years where we know most of what's going on. So I bring it back to my original question. Can an E3 and should an E3 be judged based on the surprises and the unexpected announcements, or based on the quality of games provided, whether or not they're known or new? Personally, I kind of lean towards surprise, because most of the biggest reveals and biggest trailers will be hands-off experiences. So if we don't get to play the things, I want them to wow me. I want them to be stunners. And I think I really like the idea of E3 being a week where we're surprised over and over again. And maybe that's just not the way the industry wants to go, and maybe the purpose of E3 has shifted, as evidenced by these companies and their ever-changing and evolving plans. But I really hope that we are missing out on something that I can't predict and can't see. One spot that I have hope for is Bethesda. Now, I'm worried that the Rage 2 leak may have revealed their plans early, but it seems like they're ready to show their cards next week with that Monday, May 14th announcement. If that gets Rage 2 out the way, it clears the path for Starfield. And I think that could be the kind of game that really defines and owns an E3. And even if it's just Nintendo bringing in a few spooks and then Starfield, we may be okay. Sony is known. Microsoft is in a really weird space where they're probably going to show Crackdown 3. I don't think it will elicit much enthusiasm. If they bring out Gears, that could be great. Halo could be superstar awesome. I'm hearing that that's not a part of this year's plan, but there's potential. Most people's most anticipated game, Red Dead Redemption 2, won't be at the show because Rockstar doesn't really mess with E3, so it kind of comes down to Nintendo and Starfield, and I'm praying they can deliver. I'll tell you that my favorite E3 was the one where Xbox One and PS4 were unveiled and available to play. New hardware is so exciting. Even just opening the box, booting the system up, checking out the UI, feeling the controller, that's so fun for me. So that's why I held out for that PS5. I knew it probably wouldn't happen, but Sony's confirmation and then detailing of their E3 plans in such an explicit way really just cements that this year's E3 will be one that doesn't catch us off guard, for the most part. I'm no executive, so I don't know if this is part of an overarching plan, or maybe it's just the culture we're a part of, where the Twitterverse and the Redditverse and the 4chanverse are so hungry for info that leaks and rumors are more rampant than ever. Perhaps we spoil it for ourselves, perhaps we ruin it for ourselves, and E3 can't be what it once was because of the circumstances of society and social media. Nonetheless, my biggest E3 smiles are tied to surprises, and that goes hand in hand with how I rank the 6 E3s I've been a part of. 7 times the charm seems a little far-fetched at this point. But hey, anything can happen, and that's the excitement of May, and that's the excitement of June. And I want to know how that makes you feel and what you need to see from E3 to be truly surprised. Or do you not care about surprises? As long as the games are good, you're golden. I guess I'm weird in that I kind of view E3 like my replacement Christmas. And when you're young, Christmas is really fun because everything is exciting and new and you don't know what you're going to unwrap. I'd like E3 to be that same way. And while E3 is more a means to an end of you eventually playing the game for yourself in your home, I still really get wrapped up in the idea of a big firework blowing us all away. So don't get me wrong, I'm real excited to see what The Last of Us Part 2 brings to the table. I can't wait to find out more of the Super Smash Bros. Switch roster, and I'm still excited for that long list of leaked games from Walmart Canada. But let me know your take in the comments down below. How much does surprise matter to you? Or is it all about the quality, whether or not it is a brand new reveal and something that you didn't expect? Let me know your take in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll be at E3, so I'll bring you along with me as best I can, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, thanks again. Have a fantastic day. Drink so much, and we'll see you all later.